Hey guys, Chris here from Carolot Farm. So glad to have you with us today as we go about our second camping trip of the season. We are currently at Shenandoah River State Park. Beautiful park, lovely campsite, nice and level, nothing but positive things to say about it. Today we are heading a little ways down the road though, because we are going to go and check out another state park by the name of Seven Bends State Park. It's a day use only park, so we're going to go do a little bit of hiking, and there's supposed to be a super cool bridge that I want to go check out. So yeah, that's what's on the docket for today, and we'll do a little exploring here maybe this afternoon, but mostly tomorrow we will use to really check out this park here at Shenandoah River. So good day, beautiful sunny day, blue sky. It's gonna be nice and warm this weekend. So I'll try to get some good pictures and give you some updates. As we were preparing to leave the park to visit Seven Bends, we saw a sign for an overlook. This is called Cullers Overlook at Shenandoah River State Park. It's a beautiful, beautiful view of the South Fork of the Shenandoah River, and you can drive your car right to this overlook, so very accessible. So while we were visiting the park, we noticed that the bluebells were in full bloom, and this was a pleasant surprise. I had never seen them at the parks before, so that was pretty special. It was a bit of a drive to get to Seven Bends. You know, we had to kind of go down around the river and up and over a mountain ridge here. However, we had some really beautiful overlooks that we were able to stop and check out. Once we arrived at Seven Bends State Park, we set out in search of the bridge that we had heard they had. And so this is a picture from up above. We had to go down many steps to get down to that bridge. It was like a bouncy, swaying suspension bridge, so it was really fun to go out on. Whenever we go to state parks, we are always looking for fun bridges and water features and overlooks, just, you know, super beautiful things like that we don't see just everywhere. And so from on top of this particular bridge, we saw there was a winery off to the right and just a very picturesque setting. So we really enjoyed this bridge. I must confess, I've never really been out on a bridge such as this, and so that was a lot of fun. Such a bouncy bridge. After exploring the first bridge, we set out in search for the second. It was located on Eagle's Edge Trail. We did have to drive a few minutes. This particular park has two primary access points, and so we were able to park and walk just a very short distance to the second bridge. I would say it's very accessible. It's a great bridge for children. It's an easy hike. As you can see from the video, the bridge was very bouncy and it wanted to sway quite a bit. It was also very windy up on top. The water that we're overlooking here is the North Fork of the Shenandoah River. It's smaller than the Southern Fork, which is what we saw earlier at Shenandoah River State Park. But these two rivers will eventually merge together and form the Shenandoah. So again, just a really fun bridge, and we had a blast. It was really fun up there. Another neat feature here at this park was this little trail that goes along the water's edge. You know, you can walk on the river rocks here. There were some really great tree roots. They're real gnarly looking. And again, this could be a really fun place for young children, of course, under close supervision. And then there were more bluebells. You know, it was so fun to see the bluebells. We've heard of them here in Virginia at this time of year, but we've never seen them. And then just the beautiful rushing water. I mean, I have nothing but wonderful things to say about this park. We really enjoyed our visit here. After we walked along the water's edge, We then followed one of the trails. You know, you can see here, this is a very well-groomed trail. It's nice and level. You know, you could go bike riding, jogging, walking, just a lovely, lovely park. After our little exploration, we were feeling hungry, and so we went into the town of Woodstock and stopped at a little brew house for a bite to eat. My husband is a home brewer himself, and so we always enjoy visiting these small little breweries. You know, of course, we had to try a flight. It's always good to see what they have. And then we had lunch. I had a falafel sandwich. I think he had a fried chicken sandwich or fish sandwich maybe. But, you know, it was a lovely meal, a really fun setting. And then on our way back to Shenandoah River State Park, we stopped at another place called Vibrissa. And again, this was just a really neat little brew pub in the town of Front Royal, I believe. And so once again, we had to see what they had on tap. And then it was time to go back to Shenandoah River and catch the sunset. You know, we went back to Cullers Overlook. It was such a beautiful spot and really enjoyed the view. My husband and I have been camping now for over 5 full seasons. This is our 6th, and we have seen and visited over 30 plus Virginia state parks. This view here is one of the top with the Blue Ridge Mountains and the river. It was exquisite. So at the end of a lovely first full day, we then went back to the campground and kind of settled in for the night. The next morning, we got up and had breakfast, and then we hit the trails. This time we were exploring Shenandoah River State Park. We did a giant loop starting at our campsite, and you know, this loop gave us some views of the river. We were up high. You couldn't quite see over the trees, but you could see through them. We saw some wild blueberries that were along the trail. We saw, I believe these were wine berries, and we also saw fiddlehead ferns that were just beginning to unfurl, so that was all pretty cool. We stopped in at the visitor center and we took another look at their display. A very well done taxidermy display, lots of really great animals that are all local to the park. So that was fun. I think the fox were probably some of my favorite, very expressive. While at the visitor center, we treated ourselves to a little ice cream, and then we headed back out to the trail. You know, as we continued onward, we stopped a few times to really listen to the different sounds in the forest.
Bluebells lining either side.
They're pretty. As we stopped to admire some flowers, we heard frogs off in the distance that we went to see if we couldn't find. As we made our way down to the river's edge here, you could see that there was a nice steady flow of water, but it's still a pretty calm stretch. I think next time when we come back, we'll have to bring our kayaks. These folks had the right idea. And then our loop was complete. You know, our hike brought us right back to our campsite. Here's a look again at it. It was a relatively level site. We'd certainly come back here and camp in this particular site in the future. We had some shade in the afternoon hours with the sun setting back behind the camper, and plenty of room in the site here. You could have a tent if you needed, plenty of chairs if you were with a large group. The only thing I will say about this park is it was a little buggy. So we have just finished up a really wonderful weekend here at Shenandoah River State Park. We did some hiking here at the park today, and yesterday we spent a good bulk of the day visiting Seven Bends State Park, which was really fun too. Did hiking there, had some really great bridges that we found that we crossed. They were suspension bridges, which were really fun. So yeah, just had a really great weekend, and it's time now to pack up and head home, and then we'll have to plan our next trip. I'm not really sure what that'll be just yet, but so far our second trip of the season was a success. So, thank you for joining us, and hope you enjoyed kind of tagging along and checking out these state parks. Camper's a little bit of a mess right now, but again, we had a great time. We visited 2 different parks this weekend, and I think one of our next upcoming trips might actually be a tent camping trip, which is something we've not done a whole lot of. Again, we've primarily been RV camping, but there are some parks that we want to go to that you can only sort of do primitive camping. So yeah, that'll be fun, kind of a new adventure. And we're likely to do those trips coming up maybe late May, early June. So we've got some planning to do, but so far we've really enjoyed this weekend here. As we loaded up into the truck to head home, I found a little friend. I had to help him outside. And again, this park was just really beautiful. We have gone to many, many state parks, and this was one of the most beautiful views we have seen thus far. Highly recommend Shenandoah River State Park. And thanks again for joining us. Check back soon because we've got some more trips coming up that we are happy to share. And if you love camping as much as we do, we hope that you have just loved all of these pictures. Bye, guys.